welcome to Newsmakers. I'm your host, Nancy Lewis. Today we're going to be talking about Missouri's veto session. We're here today at the Truman Library here in Independence. We're with Missouri State Representative Mike Cierpiot. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. Okay. So veto session just wrapped up. There were 10 overrides, vetoes by Governor Nixon. Were there any surprises in it for you?
One bill, 799, that we did not override. We did in the House, but the Senate did not. It was about courts moving. The main part of the bill that I cared about was moving a court from one of the circuits from downtown out to Independence. Right. Because we're overcrowded and too busy in Independence, but that failed in the Senate. There are some different counties around the state that had added part of their on there, and they had some fees built in, and I think that's why it failed, but we'll take it up again next year.
So let's talk about some of the overrides that did happen. One of the overrides will ban local governments from enacting minimum wage increases.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, so here's what confuses me, and you can straighten me out on this. You know, it seems like those in the legislature are always talking about local control, and this seems like a local control issue. So why is local control in this case less acceptable?
Well, the state always has responsibility of oversight, and we try to let cities, for the most part, run themselves. Sometimes cities overstep. In this case, over in St. Louis area, there's 70-some jurisdictions right around the St. Louis area. And if every city had its own minimum wage, some of the businesses came to us, especially franchise businesses that have a lot of locations, and said, we just can't live with this. It would be far too difficult to administer. And we found that compelling. We also know for years and years, the state and federal government has had a minimum wage. So they've had a floor set under it for a long time, and nobody complained about interfering with local control with that. It's just now they're saying it with the upper limit. And so I think we try to be careful. Sometimes we overstep, but this was the case where I think that it was important, and we felt that to be competitive, especially around here, you got Kansas right across the state line. And it would, if you have somebody thinking about locating on one side or the other, it'd be an easy decision just to slip across the state line. And so that's what motivated us.
Does it make sense that there is one minimum wage statewide when cost of living can vary so much from, you know, Kansas City to a small town in northeast Missouri?
Well, there again, though, right now they don't have the freedom to go below the minimum wage.
Right.
And so they have no local control over that either.
Right.
So I think you have a good point, but the way it's implemented and the way it is, I think, is the best way to do it for Missouri right now.
So there was another vote to cut the duration of unemployment benefits.
Yes, ma'am.
To one of the shortest periods nationally. Talk to me a little bit about why that's important.
Well, we wanted to get the costs under control for our businesses. And so what we've done is tie the length of time you get unemployment to the unemployment rate. Because when unemployment's below 6% is one of the minimum, and that means you get it for 13 weeks. We thought it was important to do that, because if the unemployment rate is low, that means there's jobs out there to find. And we've also said that the business owners have to pay the fee a longer time to get the reserve fund built up, because for the last 7 recessions, we've had to borrow money from the federal government. We're trying to get away from that. So it was twofold. One was to tie the length of time you get it to the unemployment rate, and then to build the reserve fund up so we're more independent and free of the federal government. We
only have about 20 seconds. One bill that didn't get enough votes for override was right to work bill. Did it surprise you that that didn't have enough votes?
I worked on it quite a bit since the end of session. We have a new speaker, Todd Richardson, who also worked very hard on it. I think we both knew that it was in trouble, but it's a real important issue that I think it was important that we bring it up and see where we are. I'm sure it won't be the last time. It's one of those issues that's going to come up year after year after year, because it's very important. All the states except Illinois that surround us are right to work, and it puts us at a competitive disadvantage of attracting new large businesses, and that's what we're trying to deal with.
Wish we had more time.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for being here, and thank you for being here. We hope to see you next time on Newsmakers.